Hey guys, what's up? I'm Karen. I'm a mental and high performance coach in esports, and today we're going to be talking about flow, the famous flow state, the state that gets every athlete the exact performance they want. How do we get into it? So, there's a very specific science to understanding what flow state is, getting the hang of how to control it and how to master it, and really understanding how it works and how to implement it. But what are 5 easy steps that you can do today to start mastering your own flow? The first step is to understand and accept that flow state is within our control. So it's very easy to think about flow as something that comes and goes like magic and that we have no control of. But in reality, there is a method to how we get in and out of flow. It has to do with our thoughts, our emotions, our energy levels, our focus, and our whole state of being. So the first thing we need to understand is that accept the fact that it is within your control and you can master it. The second stage is to observe yourself just for a few days. Grab a journal. Every time you sit down and you play, feel what happened to you before the flow, or rather, the lack of flow. What happened with your emotions? Where were your thoughts? What happened to your energy levels? So you want to take a look at what were you focusing on? What was your inner state of being? And once you have those observations, we can move to step number 3. Step number 3 is to conclude what got you into flow and what sort of things got you out of flow. So you want to conclude it and then simulate it. Pick a couple of days and practice all the circumstances that got you again and again out of flow. And then for another couple of days, simulate all of the circumstances that got you again and again into flow. So you want to put what you just observed on yourself into practice and modify it as you go. Step number 4 is to start identifying patterns. So you want to take a look at what happened in your energy levels before you get into flow. Were they high or were they low? Were they chaotic or were they calm? Were they positive or were they kind of down and negative? What happened with your energy levels? What were your emotions like? Were they heavy or were they light? Were you feeling happy or were you feeling sad or mad? Were you feeling tense or were you feeling liberated and kind of free? What were your thoughts like? Were they negative or were they positive? Were they about everything that you're worrying about or were they about let's have some fun? What were your thoughts and what was going through your head right before you got in or out of flow? Where was your focus? Was it on in the game or was it on something else outside of the game, something that happened before or yesterday or something that's been bothering you? Where was your focus? On something that somebody just told you? Or was it on what's my next move and how do I perform in this moment? What was your focus like? Were you thinking about mistakes or were you thinking about all the things you can improve on? Were you blaming other people or were you focusing on yourself and what you can do better? What happened before you sat down to play? Did you sleep well or maybe not? Did you eat well or maybe not? Were you drinking enough water? What happened to you before that actually happened? Did you get some bad news? Did you have an argument with somebody? Or were you having kind of just like a great morning where you were meditating and you went for a walk and you felt inspired and you sat down to play because you actually wanted to play and you were super in the mood? What happened to you before you sat down? You want to really take a look at what was your inner state? What was your state of being like? So you want to observe all of the simulations that we just did and really get specific on what gets you in and out of flow. What was your state of being like? What were you thinking? What were you being? What were you feeling? And that will show you the method of how to start getting yourself into flow state. Now, step number 5 is really about understanding that repetition will make perfect, right? Practice makes perfect. So you want to start repeating the circumstances that you found out that gets you into flow and start repeating them as much as you can to simulate them. How do you elevate your emotions to where they were when you sit down and you're in flow? How do you get yourself calm to be your thoughts having the clarity that they need for you to step into flow? So you want to simulate your thoughts, your energy levels, your emotions, your focus, and your state of being the way it is when you naturally kind of slide into flow. And this is something that's very important to understand. We don't effort our way into flow. We don't try to get into flow, because when you try, you make everything tense. So in order to create the right repetition, you really want to slide into flow. It's almost like I'm relaxing into flow. Flow is a state of being that when we allow ourselves to step away from the process with our personality, with our negativity, with our behaviors, and we allow the body and the mind connection to be clear, to have no doubt, to be in the fastest speed that the mind knows how to do. After you've practiced hours and hours and hours, the brain and the body has accumulated a connection that knows how to play the best that you can play without you interfering with more thinking or overthinking. So we're talking about sliding into your intuition, sliding into your instincts. That's what flow is about. So we want to repeat the circumstances that got us there in the way that makes us feel like we are relaxing into flow and not trying to push our way into flow, which immediately gets us out of it. So practice the 5 steps that I just gave you to get into flow, and tell me how it goes for you. Tell me how it changed your mindset about the idea that maybe it's happening without my control, regardless of what I'm choosing to be. So it is within your control, and you can start mastering it today. Good luck.